have cocaine, weed, acid, ecstasy. Ritalin is a big drug here. I remember in 9th grade I was in my English class and my friend gave me 2 tabs of Ritalin. I cut them up, made a line, snorted it right in class.
I know some people don't know what they're doing when they're on drugs, but I knew that I looked stupid, and I knew, you know, that I was pacing, and I knew that I looked like a crackhead, you know, and I knew that, and that's what I was like, God, look at me, you know, and I had to pace back and forth in the room to not feel sick anymore, and it was really scary.
I might have suffering. It's worse than cocaine or just hardcore stuff, and whoa.
It starts off, you just do it a little bit, and you say, you know, it's not that bad, and you keep doing it, and then you start doing it, like, you know, every month, you do it every week, you do it, like, you know, every other day. It just keeps getting worse, and you're doing it a lot, and suddenly, like, you realize, like, you know, oh my God, like, I'm constantly doing it.
Kids try drugs because they hear about a lot of things, like how they make you feel, and they want to feel the way that they hear, and like everybody else is doing it, so all these kids just want to keep trying it to do what everybody else is doing because they think it's cool and because they hear so many good things about it.
I think kids try drugs because they're curious. They want to know what it feels like, you know, to get high, or all their friends are doing it, so they got peer pressure, and you know, they want to be a part of the loop, you know, they don't want to be left out.
I think that kids try drugs because they want to escape reality, and by escaping reality, it takes them to their own little worlds, and they do that because they're like stressed or like school, work, job, and the bad thing about that is they always have to come back to reality, and it's just not good to use that as an escape.
The percentage of kids at school, I think, that are on drugs is probably around 70%.
75 to 80% of students at the school uses drugs.
I'd say like about 80% of the students here have done it, have tried it, or is doing it right now, marijuana. So you could get marijuana anywhere, you know, like any other drug. You know, I could get any sort of drug, you know, anywhere, just from here in school, you know. That's another thing that parents don't know, you know. They assume that if they keep their kids away from the streets, you know, don't let them go out and just go to school, you know, they could keep them off of drugs and stuff like that. But the school itself is like the best place to get your drugs, you know. A lot of kids get drugs from here.
How many of you honestly are sick of hearing about drugs? Hands? Thank you for your honesty. So you guys are pretty much experts on drugs, so I'm going to give you the billion-dollar question. Who can tell me the exact definition of a drug? Raise your hand. Okay, I want everyone to look around the number of hands we got on this. I just want to let you know that's not bad. Actually, I did this with 114 school teachers one day. Who can give me the exact definition of a drug? Out of 114 school teachers, one person raised their hand. So you guys aren't doing too bad with 3. Yes, can you tell me?
A mind-altering substance.
A mind-altering substance, okay. Not bad. Yes, sir.
I was going to say like a substance that changes the way you feel, think, or like see something.
A substance that changes the way you think, feel, or see something. That's good. That's still a partial definition. You're missing an important part, but that's a good one.
All right, it's a substance other than food that changes your mind or your body's activities, basically.
Okay, good one. That's the closest one, but you're still missing a real important piece, real important part. Yes?
It takes you, it's something that's mind-altering and takes you out of reality and makes you feel like you're in a fantasy world, pretty much.
Okay, not bad. Let me show you how deadly this actually can be by not, now you guys actually did pretty good on this. Most classes, like, nobody has a clue. I'm not kidding you. They're like, shoo, right over their heads. Hon, what's your name?
Dana.
Dana, come on up for just a second. I need about 30 seconds of your time, okay? All right, great. Dana goes, man, I knew I shouldn't have come to this last one. So, Dana, I just want to do a little skit. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Ready? First thing I want to do is pretend that you and I just got in the 7th grade. We're like 12 years old.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Hi.
Hi.
So, Dana, have you heard about the Zoofles?
Zoofles?
Yeah, the Zoofles. Have you heard about the Zoofles?
I don't think so.
Oh man, all the kids are talking about Zoofles. As a matter of fact, I heard some of the kids over there that are actually taking Zoofles, but man, everybody's talking about them. What obvious question is Dana going to ask me?
What are Zoofles?
Okay, go for it.
What are Zoofles?
A Zoofle?
Yes.
I don't know exactly what Zoofles are, but some of the kids over there, they say they're real bad for you. But there's other kids, they say that the Zoofles make you feel good, but everybody's talking about them. The more I talk about Zoofles, and the less Dana actually knows about them, what is almost certainly going to begin to happen in Dana's mind? She's going to start to get what? Curious. How many of you feel she's going to get curious? Raise your hands. Okay, great. Give her a hand. Thank you very, very much, Dana. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. We talk about drugs, and we talk, well, drugs, flugs, glugs, blugs, laffles, zaffles, boofles, fluffles. It doesn't matter what sound comes out of your mouth. If people don't know the definition of it, exactly what they are, the one thing that can happen is curiosity. How many of you ever heard the expression, bad drugs and the good drugs? Raise your hands if you ever heard this said before. Bad drugs, good drugs, bad drugs. Hands up high, I'm just curious how many we got here. Almost everybody? Okay, who can give me an example of a bad drug?
Crack.
Crack cocaine, okay, good. Who can give me an example of a good drug?
Excedrin.
I just want to let you guys know, in Massachusetts about 4 years ago, there were 17 drug overdoses. The kids involved were 11, 12, 13 years old. By the way, 2 of those kids died. Guess which category of drug every single drug overdose that year was in this category here. So let me ask you guys a common sense question. Is there really such a thing as bad drugs, good drugs?
No.
Here's the exact definition of a drug. Although sometimes a drug is necessary, drugs all are essentially poisons. A tiny amount of a drug will wake you up. More of that exact same drug will begin to slow you down and actually puts you to sleep. Enough of that drug fast enough kills you dead. Well, how many of you have seen somebody go out and drink, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 beers before, or wine or something like that? Everybody see that? How many of you see this happen, right? The guy gets about the 3rd one, he's like, hey, party, let's go. He gets all loud and rowdy. How many of you see that happen? Okay, let me ask you a question. Is that drug putting him to sleep, or is it waking him up? Waking him up. Anybody ever see somebody drink like 8 or 9 or 10 beers? Oh, I got to take a little nap. I'll talk to you guys later, right? How many of you seen that before? Same drug, is it waking him up or is it putting him to sleep? If anybody were ever dumb enough to drink a quart of whiskey in 15 minutes, I can almost guarantee you they're dead. Oh, by the way, the mildest drug that I know of is aspirin. You don't need a prescription for this drug. It's so mild, right? Aspirin, Excedrin, Tylenol, any of them, right? If you took a bottle of Tylenol, Excedrin, whatever, and you crushed it down, they puff it all up with air, right? Took a little metal rod and you just tapped it, you would crush it down into about that much powder. It would actually fit, that powder, so little of that powder, it would actually fit inside a tablespoon. If you eat that powder, you're dead in less than an hour. I actually asked a pharmacist this. I said, how many would it take to kill me? And he goes, well, how much you weigh? I said, 160 pounds. He goes, oh, probably about 17. I'm like, 17 and that's it? I'm done? He goes, yeah, 17 to 20. Okay, here's the quiz, you guys. Drugs are essentially what? Not bad. One more time. Drugs are essentially what? Poison. Pass on the first part. A tiny amount does what? More of the same drug does what? Enough of the drug fast enough? Kills you. And that is the exact definition of a drug, and it fits every drug we know of.
I think the whole idea of Narconon is they're trying to reach the students through the students. And I think that, students need to hear other students, because when a student hears an adult say drugs are bad, it's like, oh, well, that adult also said that, I should read and I should, or, the adult will tell them to do something that's not fun, and then when they have the same adult tell them, oh, drugs is bad, it doesn't register in, right? But when you have a friend or someone at school say, hey, man, drugs, they're not cool, it gets you on another, the idea hits you on another level. It's like, this is not some adult or some stranger I didn't know. This is my friend from first period, they're telling me the drugs aren't good. You know, because not all the students make it to the Narconon discussion. But the kids that do go to the Narconon discussion, they hear it, they learn it, and then when they walk out into their nutrition or their lunch, they, hey, you know, man, I was just at this talk, and they told me all this crazy stuff that I didn't even know. So it's like, and then, you know, they tell their friend, and it's like, man, I didn't know that either. And it reaches them on another level. I think that what Narconon's trying to do is really cool, the way they're trying to get it, you know, spread the word through the students, because that's where it starts.
Since the Narconon talk, you know, I've gotten one of my friends that, you know, was a pretty bad alcoholic, you know, to stop drinking. You know, he didn't really, nobody had sat down and explained to him what, you know, alcohol does to you. And I kind of, you know, told him, you know, just jokingly, you know, brought it up, and, you know, he was like, you know, amazed. And I didn't think he was serious. And I asked him, did anybody explain this to you before? He was like, no. And he really took it seriously. He really, you know, thought about it, and he hasn't drank since.
After the Narconon talk, I don't want to use it anymore.
They've opened up a whole new, like, world to drugs. It's scary, like, because, like, before the talk, it's like I didn't know half the things I know now. So it's like, you know, maybe I don't even want to touch anything again.
The Narconon presentation is good because they're giving the lowdown on, like, the physical things and the emotional distress that drugs cause. Because all we hear is don't do it, don't do it. They don't say why not to do it, or they just say it's bad, you're gonna die.
People don't listen to you. You know, you can say drugs are bad, but why are drugs bad? You know, like cigarettes are this and that, but why are they like that? Like, why are they selling? And I think the cool thing about it was he actually was able to prove everything, and every fact that people just throw out at you, you know, there was Narconon proving it.
If Narconon was in more schools, we would be more educated. Our teenagers would be more educated on the effects of drugs and what it does to our lives. And it could actually happen that the amount of teenagers using drugs actually decrease instead of increasing that it does every year. So I think it would be helpful for all teenagers.
I think Narconon should be worldwide because it really did make an impact on me personally, and it did make impacts on my friends that I was with at the Narconon meeting, and I think it was great. I'm not even, I mean, I haven't felt like this before.
Over 70% of kids try drugs by the 8th grade. In the USA alone, we have over 60 million school-aged kids, 120,000 schools, and more than 2 million teachers. It would take 6,600 drug education staff to reach each kid just once a year. There's not enough time to create a network of personnel this large. What is the solution? Put the powerful Narconon drug talks into every school. How can we possibly get this done? Friends of Narconon produces 15 Truth About Drugs videos and puts them into teachers' hands in every single school. And the results? A dramatic decrease in the number of kids turning to drugs every year. How can you help? No matter where you live, you can donate money, donate time, or do both. But whatever you do, do something now. Call Friends of Narconon or send your donation today. Don't wait. Act now. Our future depends on it. Narconon offers drug education and rehabilitation programs based on technology developed by author and humanitarian L.Ron Hubbard.